Hello. I haven't made a YouTube video for a while, so I wanted to update you on a few issues. So firstly, I wanted to talk about studying, a possible new book, and carpets. Okay, studying. So for those of you that don't know, I've been studying with the Open University for a while now. As a practitioner that's working on my own, because I'm not part of a company, I manage my own professional development. So whereas ordinarily if you were a counsellor or a mentor or anything else to do with working with people, you would have regular training. When you're independent, that doesn't automatically happen, so you have to decide what you're going to learn about and then book onto your own courses and pay for it yourself. Now sometimes that's really good because it means that you can choose what you want to study, and that's really interesting and really beneficial. But there are some downsides, obviously, because you're having to pay for it out of your own pocket, and also it would be possible not to get as a holistic education as one might if you're working for a company. I've started doing a BSc in psychology with the Open University, and really I started studying with them because I wanted to get a degree, maybe do a PhD later on, but I felt that not having a degree was holding me back. There are a lot of MA programs and postgraduate certificates that I was really interested in doing, and I felt really that although I could probably find a way to get onto them, I really felt that having a degree, having that background knowledge would be useful. And I'm just about to go on to my second module, which is about autism, and that's really good for me. Even though I have a lot of autism knowledge, it's always good to learn more, and I think I've certainly found, and I know that other professionals find, that the more you learn about autism, the more you learn there is to learn. The autism is such a big field. It's such a big area where you can learn about all kinds of different things. For example, sensory issues, digestion, sleep, social imagination, and all these things have kind of subcategories within them. So I find that really interesting. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to talk about was my book. Now, for a while I've wanted to publish a memoir. Lots of people have said I should publish one, and I'm really hoping to be able to do that. So I've made an extract, and I'm currently seeking a publisher. Thirdly, carpets. I went to a conference fairly recently, and first of all, I don't want to put a negative light on the conference organiser, because I don't think that it's fair to say that these people did a really bad job. I think this is something that they just didn't anticipate, and I also think that the conference was not run by people that just work within the autism field, and the venue was somewhere that they'd used before, so they probably, it's just not something that everybody thinks about. But this was the carpet, and the walls were a different shade of red, and the chairs were the same shade of red as the walls, and they also had gold bits on them, and there were lots of tables, and they had black tablecloths, and it was so overstimulating. I could not cope with it, and because I had to look at the carpet to also look at the projection on the screen, it meant that I just could not get away from this carpet. On the second day of the conference, because I was speaking, I sat with the other speakers looking away from the screen, and that meant I didn't have to look at the carpet, and also the tablecloth of the table I was sat at was green. It was the only one that was different, but it was green. I hadn't noticed that on the first day because I was just so overwhelmed, but the green tablecloth and sitting in a different position made all the difference. And the lesson I would like to pass on from that is, if you're somebody that works in a particular office, that you need to make sure that everybody that comes to your office who is on the autistic spectrum, but maybe there's some neurotypical people who also need this consideration, you need to make sure that nobody is overstimulated or uncomfortable in some way. And sometimes it's really easy to fix, so if somebody's getting overstimulated, sometimes you can just switch chairs and then that solved the problem. So I think that you need to just be aware of sensory issues. Also, I'm going on tour next week, It's now Sunday, and that means that I go on tour in 4 days, and I'm really excited. So I'm hoping that you'll join me through my YouTube videos.